We'll call the county meeting in order, the first thing, pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes, move with correction, got a motion? Second. Got a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Approval of agenda, just want to add one change, want to add that new business, an apology change for the closing of the courthouse on storm days. Visit with that. Anything else you want to change there on the agenda?
No, that would be my only change.
Okay,
Yeah, I move to approve the agenda as amended.
okay,
Second.
second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Kevin?
The North Dakota Department of Emergency Services is requiring that each township sign that agreement with Ramsey County so that basically we can do collect the FEMA dollars for them when there's a disaster. And it requires, it's gonna require a signature of the chairman. We sent copies of it to all the townships so they could deal with it at their meetings today, so they'll probably be coming in at the next meeting for signatures, just a heads up. It's kind of a statewide push, because everybody in the state has to complete it.
Yeah, I was at my township meeting today, and they said, well, Adam, could you explain this? What is it?
Yeah,
I said, I'll read it.
it's kind of a last minute thing.
It makes sense.
It's basically the same thing we've always been doing, but it's in a formal agreement.
You need a motion for that approval?
Yeah, well, we could get the motion when we're doing the signings, if that works. I just wanted to make sure you guys had a heads up of what was going on there. Then also the second one, the snow coming off the plow knocked over some fence for Jay from his roof out in Lakewood on Fair Avenue. And we've turned that over to insurance. I've talked to the insurance company twice or three times and talked to Jay, emailed Jay, but no answers yet. Don't know how this is gonna turn out, but we did turn it into our insurance. Just so you guys got a heads up if somebody on the street something says.
Do you have a price estimate?
I got the insurance company, I'm not sure if they're excited about paying it, let's just put it that way for now.
Is it a lot of damage you think, or?
Yeah, it's about, I'd say a dozen or 15 poles that snapped off.
Well, Jay must have wanted a new fence anyway, right?
Must-
Honestly, Jay's easy to work with, but if I'm Jay, I want my post put back up.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
It's a little more than the sheep fence then, huh? I mean,
It was a chain link fence.
It's not, shouldn't be horribly expensive, I wouldn't
No,
think.
the chain link fencing part of itself is fine, it's just the poles that
That's not too bad.
they're in concrete. But
You don't know if the insurance company wants to look at it, or?
they'll send a company to get an estimate.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably send two companies.
Might be a deal where it's cheaper if we just pay it out of pocket instead of putting a claim or
Right,
something.
we'll see how it goes, because I'll be
How much it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, just keep us informed on it.
sure.
We can do it in spring when it's all out. 4th of July, probably when it's all out.
What, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I mean, if we're gonna come out ahead by us doing it ourselves, then we'll do it, you know, our deductible versus what we're gonna get back from it, that type of thing. We'll just keep you informed there. I just wanna make sure you guys know in case
Okay.
you hear something on the show.
Yeah, that works. Anything else?
Oh, that's all I have.
How's the snow removal going? I guess we should.
I think we're pretty well caught up now. There's a couple places that we're gonna have to do some pushbacks or blow snow or something. I don't know if we wanna hire a dozer. Our worst ones are probably up on the county line by Hamden. There's 3 or 4 of them up there. They're not huge, they're not long, but it's down to one lane. And now, I think Lucas might have got a call on some on 7 that I gotta look at tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a call on that as well. So there's a couple spots there, they said it's pretty bad, we should get it pushed off before the milk gets going crazy.
Right,
Otherwise
and
it's
that
gonna
makes
make the
sense.
road into a swamp.
If the snow is up on that shoulder and it starts melting, it just makes it.
Is there somebody that'll take a cat out?
Yeah, that, can't think of his name now, but he's been doing them for the townships and he's really reasonable with,
Midwest? No.
no.
It's Howard, isn't it?
Howard, yeah.
Howard, okay.
And I'm sure I could get into it. Greg Plus said he would do it, it'd be a little more money, but
Yeah. I seen Midwest have a backhoe they were hauling around the other day. I assume they were pulling snow off the roads with that. Well, that would work too, huh?
I don't know. I've never seen one of those do that before, but it, you know, anything's possible. Sean does a great job, it's just a matter.
You have it in your budget to cover the cost of that, or do you need county approval for it?
Yeah, I don't have it in my budget, but I could probably, I'll have to look, I should have it somewhere.
You don't think there's gonna be any snow emergency in the state?
They're gathering costs, they're gathering dollars right now, so, but I don't know if it's gonna be big enough for, it's gotta be like 5 million or something like that, and I don't know if we're gonna hit that. We may, you know, you take Fargo with all the, West Fargo with all the work they've done, and yeah, now Bismarck too.
Jamestown and South,
It may add up to that.
Yeah.
there's some rough roads down in there.
Mhm.
A lot of piles of snow, I guess.
They're working on it, I'll say that, but we have to hit that target, and if we hit that target,
Okay.
Is that
Well-
countywide or statewide?
it'll be statewide what the DES is working on.
5 million?
Well, I think we should go ahead and get these county roads and get the snow off of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need a motion to hire somebody to get out there and do it, I'd make that motion.
Okay,
That helps.
got a motion and a second, remove some snow from the county roads. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Anything else we should address, Kevin?
This culvert thing on our desks, for
Yeah, we need to
information
talk
sake, or
about
should we
that.
talk about that?
I was
wondering,
Go ahead.
I didn't even bring it up, so.
Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Would you wanna, or should I just, I'll just make mention
Yeah,
of
go
kind of
ahead.
where this started at, I guess.
Yeah.
I was contacted, I think it's Triumph Township, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
And our policy on how, so our policy has been, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but any culvert over 36 inches is our responsibility. We've always paid for the culvert, the township has paid for the install.
right.
Technically, we're not in compliance with Century Code. Century Code says we're supposed to pay for the whole spiel. Triumph Township wants us to pay for the whole spiel on one of their culverts they want to put in.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Now, Adam, you said over 36 inches?
Over 36 inches
If
is
they're under
ours.
that, it's,
Under
So
that,
township-
it's,
Century code. says
Century
all
Code
of them.
states under 36, it's all, it's under 36? Or it's
All
all?
of them, yeah.
All of them.
all of them,
All
So
of them,
we've been out of compliance?
So,
yes.
every single culvert.
a long time.
But they also say an established drain, so I don't know what the definition of an established drain is.
That's a good question. Yeah, see, our policy has always been 36 or larger. It will not, we won't cost share any culverts under 36 inches.
So are we allowed to cost share it all on any size culvert by Century Code?
I don't know.
Here's what the century code says: the county shall furnish and install the county, at county expense, such culverts as are necessary to be used along township roads at points of intersection with established drains in accordance with other numbers in the century code, which don't have any really thing to do with who pays for it.
Yeah, the other ones are bridges.
I mean, that seems pretty clear to me, right, that means that we're out of compliance, so, as a point of just clarity, do you know how much more we'd be paying out to be covering all of the culverts
It would be a big number, like 250,000, I'm guessing. If we had-
annually?
Yeah, if we had to buy all the 18s and 24s and 36s and install them.
Well, I mean, the other thing is we say no and then we,
Wait for the lawsuit.
Let's not
Yeah.
bail into this.
The only thing is it says an established drain, and Jeff, do you know what they consider an established drain, or is that just a?
Well, we've got so many in the county too that are, established,
My guess would be anything that would be on an FSA map marked as an established drain pre-85. So pretty much anything that was dug in before 85 with water moving anywhere is gonna probably be technically.
See, in that case, this one wouldn't qualify.
I know of a lot of townships that if you know, what is it, if you buy the culvert, they'll put it in. that's the way it's been in the past. You know, and that, I'm talking 18, 24s, you know, something like that, but 36s, you know, that's quite a large culvert. We all know that, I guess, so.
You don't wanna be on the wrong side of century code either.
No, I don't,
Regardless
but I
of how we've
mean,
done it.
if we're gonna do something like this, you know, then we're gonna have to probably take these blading charges up considerably.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
that's
and,
gonna be huge.
I wonder if that should be one of the things we talk about at the township meeting, on what you think of that as.
Well, I think it's reasonable to talk about it. I mean, I don't want, we don't wanna threaten anybody.
No, no.
But just,
no.
obviously, if we're gonna incur an additional fairly, I mean, and by that point, well, it's only a week away, but if we could have some type of numbers, just an idea, you know, we're gonna have to say, hey, if we're gonna incur all this additional cost, we're gonna have to find a way to, I mean, I guess it's our responsibility
Right.
regardless,
So
but
it's-
we're, what, about 250, 260,000 under the actual blading cost. And is that in century code as well?
Century code says we can't charge less than actual cost.
Yeah. So,
There's two things we can go over with the townships at the meeting, and try to get a feel on what they think we, you know, want us to do, you know, because it's gotta come out of, you know, the people's pocket, so.
yeah.
Maybe we should just kind of table this until after that meeting and try to get a feel for
Till the-
what's gonna happen there, you know.
Our first meeting in April.
Well, but, you know,
We gotta work together.
right, I agree with you, but the other part of it is it's not like we can't negotiate century code either.
No, I know what you're saying, but it's been considerably a long time since, and it's been in the century code for quite a while, so. And we've been
Yeah.
doing, you know, what, we furnished the culvert, and they put it in, that's kind of been the
And
standard.
36 inch and over, yeah. Anything less than that, we sell them a culvert, but they buy it and install it.
But then, like I said, there's been lots of times the township said, well, you buy the culvert as a farmer, and then they'll put it in, or vice versa. You know, they'll buy the culvert and you put it in, you know, then we have to, as a farmer, hire somebody. So that's been going on
Oh,
for
Well, I
quite a
mean,
few years too, so.
I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you can cheat on your taxes a lot of years and get away with it, but that doesn't mean that you're not breaking the law.
Right, I agree with you.
And another thing, there's probably a lot of 18-inch culverts that aren't in a drain, they're just equalizers to make the water the same level on one
yeah,
side.
that's my only question on that. What does established drain mean? Is there some place that's defined in century code, or is it just, how they decided to write it when they put it in century? I'm just kinda curious.
Well, I mean, yeah, if every other county is abiding by this, right, that means that the state has to have some clarity on what it means.
Well, we honestly have no clue what other counties are doing.
No, most of them do not, most of them are doing the exact same thing we're doing.
I agree.
Their sizes might be different, they might say 40-inch, but otherwise, they furnish them, but they don't install them. Quite typically like Walsh and Grand Forks.
I mean, I look at it from the aspect, I understand it's gonna cost us a lot of money, and I wanna make sure that we have clarity on what established drain means, but at the end of the day, if the townships generally get a couple dollars in their pocket, they're gonna spend it and make the road system better. You know, they're gonna put gravel on roads, they're gonna do upkeep and maintenance, so it's not like that money that we're gonna save them if we have to take it on, is just gonna be pocketed. I mean, they're probably gonna spend most of it, and it's gonna make our road system better, which is a positive for everybody that lives in the county, but at the same time, we gotta figure out how we're gonna budget for it, what the total cost is gonna be, and what the established rate thing is.
Has Carrie looked at this?
I don't know if she had time
I
to.
forwarded all of it to her and
I mean, I think before we make any, I agree with you, we gotta table this, but I'd like to make sure that Carrie has a chance to look at it and tell us what exactly we're on the hook for.
Yeah.
Well,
Because the century code also says that the water board is responsible for drains.
Yeah, I think we just need some clarity on how we're gonna handle it, and then we can make it, I mean, we're not putting any culverts in anytime soon.
Right.
So we got a little bit of time to get it hashed out before it's time to start doing that kind of work. Plus then we can, if we have maybe a little bit of clarity by like next week, at the township officers meeting, we can at least bring it up and at least talk about it with them and see, you know,
was that Monday?
tell them what's, I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Then
Five, six?
I'd make a motion that we.
Just a second, I wanna
Sorry.
ask a couple more questions for Lucas, excuse me. Who is the township chairman under countywide deal.
God, I read it today.
Oh,
Should we put this subject on there?
Oh, it's Wayne
Agenda?
Lindbergh, I'll give him a heads up, yeah,
We
Wayne.
should put that up, this on their agenda, because I think we should visit with them about it.
Okay.
Wayne had asked me to present to them on behalf of the joint board and give them a kind of a flooding update or expectations. And he said, if you got anything else for the commission, you can throw that in there too.
That's what
But,
Well, I think we should visit with them
Also,
about it.
Jeff's volunteering to take the breath, is what he's saying, all right.
I don't have a problem,
I don't mind.
keep doing what we've been doing, I don't have a problem with that at all, but.
We should probably see what Carrie said.
Yeah, I think first step is find out what the.
Wow, I know what she's gonna say, it's what the century code says, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
you determine what you wanna do as a commission, but,
Our policy,
do you
I
wanna
do
go down
know,
that road?
our policy was established before it went into the century code, but
Oh, okay,
So that explains that we were in compliance when everything went in, and then at some point in the interim, something got changed and we just missed it. And
yeah,
that's
exactly.
with all the changes that happen
Yeah.
every session, it's not surprising. It just happens.
okay, let's just table it then until after the township meeting then.
Okay, I'd make a motion that we table this for the next county commission meeting and seek the state's attorney's opinion on what exactly the county needs to do to be in compliance with the century code as written, to present that to us at the next county commission meeting.
I'm not gonna say that, I'll be able to say.
Very good.
I may visit with the state water commission too, just to get their
Very
thoughts.
good idea, good idea.
Because I don't think there's a lot of counties that are going by the century code, but that, like I said, that's not either right or wrong, but
I have, county water boards that are providing, they're providing the culverts, not the highway or commission, it's the
Yeah.
county water boards.
that's the way, yeah. That does say in the century code for any drains that the water board is supposed to be paying for 60%, 40% to the drain.
I just don't want Ramsey County to be the one that sets a precedent at the North Dakota Supreme Court on what exactly is going on. We'll put it
No,
that
I
way.
don't want to get that far. I'm with you there.
We won't let her get that far, we'll figure it out before then.
Okay, anything else to add there with that? We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Anything else, Kevin?
No, that's all I have.
No bombshells? Very good, moving to new business, approval of LAC March billing, everybody's got copies of it.
Excuse me.
It's not too bad to swallow, I guess.
No, what was it, I forgot.
68.
I'll make a motion to pay the LEC.
And you want all three of them, right, on that motion?
Is it the LEC and then
Re-entry
and what was the Medicare bill this month, I forgot.
There's the securities, well, we should maybe do them
You wanna
separate.
do all of them separate?
Yeah,
Which
Well, we
one
always
do
pay
you-
the re-entry center and the LEC.
Yeah.
together.
Put
Those
together,
two
and then we can look at that third
Yeah.
one separately.
I'll make a motion that we pay the LEC and the re-entry center.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
So one of those that we need,
Roll call.
roll call.
Roll call, sorry.
Brett,
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye. And then that third one
That's the
is
security.
for engineering and some other stuff, the engineering and electrical progress payment. Not real big yet, but
3692.25.
we're working on it.
Move to approve.
Okay, got a motion to approve that work was done at the law enforcement as far as the cameras and intercom system.
Second.
Wait a second. Any other questions? Roll call.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Brett,
Aye.
Brown. And then we have that
Buildings
last
for the North Dakota Human Services,
And I'll do that one.
2511.
They're going to start doing it monthly.
So that was we talked about it a little bit last month, that is then the Medicare for the Medicaid bill that we're paying when, an inmate has to go outside of the facility to seek treatment, and it's just being billed differently now, so. I'll make a motion to pay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the North Dakota Department of Human Services bill. Any questions? Roll call.
Brett,
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Wakefield,
Aye.
Brown.
Aye. Visitors and delegations.
Young lady, do you have anything?
And the other agenda item, policy.
Oh, God, I jumped right over that. Scribbled. Policy closing for the courthouse. We should visit that, I guess, and probably add something. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I would think of just keeping it real simple as, you know, when school, Devils Lake School calls off, and with the approval of chairman or vice chairman. You know, I think that would be simple, you know, the school calls things off, and they have a much,
Safety concern.
you know, they have 900 or so kids riding bus, they have, you know, 1,700 kids total, they've got 300 staff that are on the roads, and so sometimes they have to take those precautions where we can, as adults, choose not to come in or err on the side of caution. And, you know, as a chairman or vice chairman, you can say, yeah, I agree with the school, it's not fit for man or beast out here, and we'll close the building. We don't want residents coming for services that we're providing and risking their life and them, and, you know, for service that they can get the next day. So I think an and, or, you know, with that chairman or vice chairman, whoever is quickest to reach or easiest to reach, you know, whether one of them's out of town or can't get a hold of right away, it'd be easily handled that way.
Makes sense?
I think it's reasonable. Yeah, there's been probably, what, 2 days this winter at least, where we probably could have been open.
Could have been, yeah.
And at least one of them, we probably could have been like a 10 o'clock start, you know? So, I mean, I think our intent when we went to this was good. We decided at that point, we're gonna see how it works out. And overall, I think it's not a bad system, like you said, just with that additional approval of the chair or the vice chair at that time, I think is reasonable.
You know, I think in a normal winter, I think it'd probably be real good. You know, because
We just had a tough winter.
you know, school doesn't like calling things off because it does put a bind on a lot of parents juggling daycare and different things like that. So they take a lot of different things into consideration when doing so, it's not something they take lightly.
Right.
And so I think it was initially a very good way to go about things, but I think there has been a couple days where we pretty easily could have
Well,
been open.
I think this is a very common sense improvement to the policy. I mean,
Yeah.
it just makes a lot of sense to do that, so.
Do we have a copy of the policy? Just so we know how we should word it?
Well, you know, I'm wondering, is it something that we want HR to review and bring back to us?
Oh, let's put it in place tonight.
Okay,
Just in case.
Unless we just want to assume that, you know, we're gonna.
then we're done with winter,
Yeah,
tomorrow's the
assume
first day
that,
of spring.
I guess any other closings.
I'm never gonna assume we're done with winter until my planners are rolling.
No.
And then you can't even assume it.
Yeah.
We can do that and then just make sure that between now and 4th of July,
Well, I
call the
think,
chairman or the vice
I
chair.
think you can word this in such a way that the policy is both in effect and to be written down by the HR person. I think that's, you know, in other words, the sentiment expressed here is now the policy, but we're gonna assign the HR person to write it the right way.
Okay, that sounds.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I think that's very reasonable. Make that a motion?
Well, it's your baby.
I'll go ahead and I'll make that as a motion, we'll,
Candy's gone.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
wait till Candy
Wait till
Let's
Candy
wait till
gets
our
back.
writer gets back here.
Yeah. You know, I think it was it that second meeting in December, first meeting in December when we did that? And then it wasn't too long right after that we had a closing and, you know, it's been a winter from heck.
People caught on real fast. I mean, it was amazing how quickly I was getting calls, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, we're making the system better now.
Well, yep, making things better, and it has been one of those unusual winter weather things, you know, and I think we've gone, you know, we all lived through it, and, yeah,
You wanna err on the side of safety.
yeah,
Well, I agree with
That's my thinking.
I totally agree.
That's, you know,
yeah.
I guess if we got the courthouse closed,
And,
don't want people out of
and as long as people know that it's closed, and I think we're doing a really good job of getting that out on both media, social media platforms, different things like that, that it's known about, then people aren't gonna come and try to get in when it is closed, kind of thing.
Like when they advise no travel, they mean it.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And like the other day when 2 was closed, I mean,
Right.
like,
yeah.
we got a motion, or we got a potential
I know,
motion.
did you hear me yell back? Hold on.
We got a potential motion, so, and I think we can, have that motion and then we can make it okay it, and then we can still have the, HR person looking to making sure our wording is
Yeah,
right.
I think that's,
So,
Yeah,
go ahead, Jeff.
we'll go ahead and make that, adjust that second paragraph. In case of severe weather conditions, county will follow Devils Lake Public School District's weather-related openings and closures, and with the county commission or vice chairman, commission chair or vice chairman's, whoever's available for their,
and send the policy itself to HR for proper wording,
yeah.
so.
Whoever's gonna be awake at 5 AM when I call.
Right.
Holy smokes, they're asleep at a phone. Well,
I think that becomes reasonable.
yeah, that's fine.
I'd second the motion.
Hey, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, now we'll get to visitors and delegation. Anything else there? Nobody wants to talk to us?
Second chance.
What announcements? Anything on announcements including?
One thing to keep on our horizon is that Devils Lake Outlet Advisory Committee meeting that hasn't been scheduled yet, but it's probably gonna be talking with State Engineer's Office sometime late May, or late April, I'm sorry. Late April, early May. We wanna try to get it before everybody gets busy in the field, so producers have an opportunity to attend. So last year it was moved up into April, and I think they're gonna try that again. Although given this spring, we could, you know, producers could be out in the field till middle of May, kind of thing. So they want to try to do that. It's always going to be in Carrington. That's kind of their deal. But we should have some conversations, be thinking about the position that we want to bring forward as whether it be a Ramsey County Commission or a community in general. There's been a lot of conversation, a lot of interest in that meeting, whether it be an email or a phone call or a visit in the grocery store across the street. People are interested in that meeting, and they want to be notified of when it's going to be, and they want to be able to have an opportunity to express their opinion. And so I'm glad I don't have to run the meeting. We'll leave that to the state engineer or the governor's office, and I think it's usually Governor Bergen's always had the state engineer's office run that, but it's basically to set a target objective for the operation of the outlets for this season. You know, we're expecting this amount of runoff. How do we want to operate the pumps? And you know, so it's not a set in stone type of number, but it's one of those things that is not out of the reach of possibilities either. So, you know, everybody thought when we mentioned a 48 elevation that well, they were gonna be shut off and never turned on again, no. That was just a target elevation, given how high we were and how much we know we can operate those pumps to, how much they could remove. So it's more of a target elevation than a actual, this is it. And you know what the governor, the state engineer's office has said in the past is, once we reach our target elevation, is we'll revisit that, we'll reconvene the meeting and revisit that, our next objective, our next goal, so.
I was just circling the meeting dates for April, and the first one's on the 2nd, and the second one's on the 16th. That must be correct, so.
And is
If
it?
there's only 2 more weeks after that, and after the 16th, that they could meet if they try to do it in April. It's gonna be very difficult to put a meeting together of the people. I'd like to get a real good idea of what the people want before we make
Right.
decisions here as a commission.
Yep,
You know, do they want more water pumped up? Do they not want more water pumped up? That's gonna be difficult to get an assessment on that and figure out
Do you
what the
wanna,
majority of the people are. I don't know, we're gonna go by the majority, or we're gonna go by what landowners want, or how are we gonna do it?
do you wanna add an item of business to the next commission meeting?
I think. at the
Well, I
very
don't know if we
least
wanna
we-
fill up the room with people and talk about that, but maybe we should have something special, or a special meeting.
Well, it's something we can have a discussion with at the Township Officers Association. They have a good feeling for what's going on out in the county area, and bring it up to them. They always, you know, I always try to remind them and put it on their horizon as well. You know, and, you know, I think talking to people, and maybe people will be contacting you as commissioners, and Dick Johnson, Mayor Johnson's the other representative from Devil's Lake, as well as Bill Mertens. And, you know, so I'm sure those people will be contacted as well. You know I have been. It's at least once a day, if not more than once, I get asked, you know, have you heard about that meeting? When's that meeting gonna happen? And so, but I think is the last possible day of legislature the 23rd of April? Anybody remember?
I'm not sure, I guess.
I don't know.
You think it's that late?
I don't think it'll go that late, if it is. You know, I think they're gonna leave 5-10 days on the backside of things in case things come up between now and next biennium, you know, just in case. Because we have Senator Elke as our representative, and I can't remember who the downstream representative is, but they have one from a legislator from each side of the basin, whether it be downstream Cheyenne Basin or Senator Elke being up here. And, you know, if they're in session, obviously they can't attend.
Well, I think before we go to the meeting, I mean, we need to have a feeling from the people.
Right.
I do,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I'm not down every day by any means, so I'm not getting the feel of what's going on in the coffee shops and restaurants and bars, I guess, so. I'd like to know what the people are thinking.
sure.
How would we do that, Louise? Set something up for the second meeting in April? That makes sense?
16th.
Seems like our second meeting is not getting too busy, so could we set up a time to take comments from the people? They're surely not gonna meet on that advisory council before then.
No.
The other thing we could do is put a temporary, like we did for the home rule charter, put a temporary comment, you know, board on the county website and allow people to make
That's a
comments
good idea,
online.
Lucas, that's a good idea, you bet.
Yeah, just get it out there that it's available through Facebook and. Put it
Through all of
on
our
the paper or
sources
something.
and.
So they can give us an idea
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I
what we
think-
should be leaning to do, you know, what's in support. If we're gonna put in a you know, an idea to the committee there, we should have some idea what the people want us to put in it.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't,
Yeah, with the,
I don't wanna use my own personal feelings, that's for sure.
the peak of Fargo flooding scheduled for the 15th of April. I don't think they'd have it that week, but, you know, that could be pushed up or pushed back, depending on how the weather cooperates, but, they're looking at a significant runoff in the River Valley. So,
And what did you say about the 15th?
that's when their target peak flood is for Fargo.
That far out?
Yep.
Really?
15th of April. So, well, they need 1 million sandbags.
They're bagging right now, right?
Well, I know they're mobilizing now. And Mayor Mahoney declared a state of emergency or a city of emergency.
County did yesterday.
Yeah, so,
That's to free up federal funds too.
well, yep, that, and they're gonna start meeting on a daily basis, city offices in Fargo, starting Monday. So, and Monday is the 25th, let's see, we got another week or 10 days of March, get into April, yeah. So, you know, I can't imagine them having it before that third, fourth week of April. Yeah.
Would it make sense to have Louise put it in the paper, or if there's any comments about the upcoming meeting there of the
Well, should we-
advisory
should we
council,
wait?
like Lucas said, they can
Should we
contact the
Yeah.
county website, that's what we have it
I mean,
for.
yeah, I think.
Put their comments there, you know,
Right,
really.
do you think Steve can get that set up?
Yep, ask him, but I'm sure he can figure something out.
And maybe, you know, Louise can hold off on that until we get that link put up, and then she can include that in the story or whatever. But I think that's a good idea, you know, have people's comments, and I don't know if there's a limit to how
That's just about a
big
month.
their comment would be, but,
I think that can be designed into whatever we choose to
right.
do. I personally wouldn't necessarily like us to do it directly on Facebook, because I don't know that it.
No, we would.
But you could post the link,
We would
that's-
put the link
that's
on our Facebook page
Yeah.
Right.
to website.
Sure.
Yeah, it's better if it's a setup where it's like a direct message type setup or Dropbox on our page.
Yeah. So I mean, so yeah, we'll get that set up, and if that get into the paper. And then I'm not opposed either to your other suggestion, which is we open it up part of a meeting or have a special meeting to.
I think that'd be fine.
I think putting aside some time on the 16th is reasonable. I mean, we're gonna be here anyway, putting aside, you know, a 6 o'clock discussion about where we should set our goals for outlet running or something, and then we could
Have that be open to.
have it's not even a public hearing, it's just like a public comment period or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like to feel from the people. Answer this question for me then, if you put this on the website, do they have to sign that then, or not?
You can choose to have them have to do that, and I think that's reasonable, just so that. Because with anonymity on the internet, you can get a lot of strange things, we'll put it that way.
True. And then one person could put in how many? you know?
50.
Right.
They could be from Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a scientific poll either by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not-
We're just trying to get, you know, like you said.
Right.
If it's 20 to 1, well, then I guess we got an answer, you know, whatever. Yeah, I think we should probably set up for something, but I can't believe our meeting would be done by 6 on the 16th of April.
Have a discussion on it.
And you just include it during the meeting, and if we get it done during the meeting, then we'll just roll back to our agenda afterwards, just like we have when we do that.
So we'll set up a time for 6 o'clock then,
That's fair.
that's all.
Are you gonna have the meeting here or downstairs, in a larger room?
We'll start out here, we can always move. We better have Roger set up, we'd have to have him set up chairs or something in case.
I'll have to see if it's available.
But we'll start out here, I think, you know. As I get the website set up, I think we'll probably have a better idea, you know, on how many seats we'll probably need, so. That'd be my guess.
I think people need to remember too that this is an advisory thing.
No,
I mean, all we're doing is giving our recommendation for what we are looking for, and that the State Water Commission is gonna make the decision what's gonna happen. Basically, the state engineer, I think, and the water commission okays it.
It's the governor.
Yeah, the governor essentially gives the directive,
Yeah.
yes.
And Burgum's been more hands-off. Dalrymple was right there. He would attend the meetings and he would look back in the room and if the outlet engineer was in the room, he'd say, "John, can you turn those on?" And he'd say, "Yep." "How high?" And, you know, right there from meeting room in Carrington with an iPad, you can control those electric pumps and crank them up.
So you need a motion on that?
I don't believe we do. I don't think so. I think we're all right. Overall. You want a motion, fellas, or not? I don't.
I don't think we need.
I think just add it as an agenda item for discussion and have Steve set up a discussion board or on our website, and then we can put the link to that website on the Facebook page. And
Louise, you can put something in the paper for us?
You bet.
Yeah.
Once we get our link put together, we'll give it to you.
Because I want to have an idea.
You want me to wait until
Yeah, I think
the link is ready?
Yeah, until Steve knows what the link is, and then you can
Shouldn't take very long.
throw it in an article or
A
whatever.
couple days?
Oh, it should.
Steve's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
Steve will have it up.
Really, all it is I think, is like a comment box, and it required, you need to fill in your name, right? And, you know, get emailed to somebody's email address. I mean, that's all it is, it doesn't take a whole lot.
It's just yeah, and he'll just put a link right on the main page, so.
I do know that State Water Commission has a regular commission meeting on the 9th of April. So we'll for sure know that day when the outlet advisory, I would think, they would set that time and place for that. Well, like I said, it's always in Carrington, and they kind of felt that that's always halfway between the lower basin and the upper basin of the outlets.
Okay. Any other announcements? Anything else? Lucas, do you have something in the library?
Yeah, I have two announcements. The first one is just for everybody's attention that the Heritage Center's annual gala is on April 13th. If you're around and you want to go to a nice fancy soiree, that's an available option for you.
Good Friday.
And then it's a Saturday, I think.
Yes.
And then the other announcement is that at the last library board meeting, we're sorry to hear that the assistant director of the library, which is a part-time position here, took a full-time job in Grand Forks for their library system. And the director was hired to be in charge of a library system in Washington State. So they'll both be departing in short order, so we've already opened up for applications for the director role. Someone has actually been hired already to fill the assistant director role. They're being trained on today while I was there talking to the director, so that's good. I'll keep you all informed on how that's going. I don't imagine we'll be conducting interviews for that prior to the director leaving. He's going to plan to leave, I think, on the 9th of April or thereabouts. And that's not going to give us a whole lot of time to compile applications, but I'll let you all know as that's ongoing. Very sad to see him go. He was doing a really, really great job. He said it had nothing to do with the community or the job, that he really appreciated the role, but that the opportunity was too good to pass up. So.
On a positive note, Lucas, it shows that you guys hired good people. You know, if they're off to bigger and better things, you know, that happens. So,
Where was he from originally? Indiana?
hmm.
It's a
He's
tough winter for somebody from Indiana.
That's right.
Yeah. Had to go find another place where it's not so cold.
Anything else?
I'll make mention of, we had social services board meeting last night. We decided to go ahead with the work group with Benson County to talk about the possibility of them folding into our district. We appointed myself and Doug Berg from, Commissioner Berg from up in Candu in Towner County. So we're gonna be on from our side, and then they've got two from Benson County, Ron Carlson, and I can't remember the other lady's name.
Orsted, right?
Yeah, I think she's the chair of their social services.
No, it's a guy. Corbin.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they have their two and we have our two, and we don't have a preliminary meeting. We think it's gonna probably be, probably take a couple, 3 meetings at least, between the work group to try to get it hashed out. Main differences are, health care policy costs. They pay some of their workers slightly more than ours, so we'd have a little bit of a change there or how we're gonna hash that out. And then I think the other one was, their retirement benefits are a little bit different, but, so we got some things to hammer out, but I don't think it's gonna be a horrible thing. It's just gonna be a matter of seeing if it'll work or not, so. And also I think, is it 21, 24, whatever it is, the social services one, got its first hearing in the House, and, no amendments yet or anything. It's not on it hasn't gone through approach yet. It's just sitting in the policy committee right now, so we'll see where that goes at this point.
Anything else?
The gopher bill passed.
Yep.
Unanimously.
Yeah, there you go,
Mhm.
Prairie dog.
Prairie dog.
Whatever it is.
And,
I knew what you meant.
Go for Bob.
Blue wire passed,
Which one?
the blue law.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
Today, yeah.
Repeal the blue law.
So that means it will be, since it passed.
Yep.
It's a pass, so yeah, businesses will have the opportunity to open on Sunday morning if they
Okay.
so desire.
Yeah, that's.
Is that effective immediately?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I guess probably July 1 or June 30 or whatever.
August 1st.
August 1st, yeah, whenever everything goes into effect.
Okay, anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Exactly.
Done.